This is Andy Perrault for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. I'm joined by promoter Kalle Sauerland. Kalle, how are you doing?
Very well, mate. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Obviously, it's always good to hear you doing well. You're a bit of an icon now in the boxing world, Kalle. So how's things keeping with yourself?
Very good, thank you. Thank you, my friend. Had a great summer, and looking forward to these finals now. You know, this final, I thought that was Dell. This final is you know, obviously one of the three. My personal pick as a fan, watching Prograis-Taylor go through the tournament, sensational. 10 days later, we're in Japan for Inoue versus Donaire, which is an absolute cracker. 21,000 people in Japan, and we're about to announce the cruiserweight final as well when the whole WBO mess gets cleared up. But no, it's going to be a great autumn of sensational fights from the WBSS again.
Let's start with this card. Let's start with the doubts as well. How come there was those doubts that the fight may not take place and Regis Prograis seemed to try and get out of a contract, etc.?
Well, you just saw Derek before saying there's doubts about his contract and wanting more money from Eddie. You know, it's always, you know, in boxing it's a hard business. You know, when you go into the tournament, you're at a certain value, and obviously when you win a couple of fights, pick up a couple of world titles, you know, you're at a different value, and it's all business.
Who is in charge of Derek's contract? You just touched him there on some of the stuff that he mentioned. Who's paying his wages for this fight?
But that's definitely not me. I still love Dell, whatever he says. Promoted him for a couple of years, and he's actually a great guy. But that's definitely, this one is definitely very much Eddie's responsibility.
He himself is in a great fight on the undercard of Regis Prograis versus Josh Taylor. His bout with Joseph Parker, just how good a fight can that be?
I think it's a great fight. It's a very tough fight. It's I think it's one. I don't know how the bookies have got it, but it's a 50-50. Yeah, it's a 50-50, and it's only a 50-50 because of what Dell did in his last fight. You know.
Ricky Burns versus Lee Selby as well. Your thoughts on that one, Kalle?
Yeah, amazing fight. Big fan of both. I've seen more of Ricky, to be honest, live, but I think it's a very, very interesting fight. Difficult to predict a winner on that.
And Lawrence Okolie's bout with Yves Ngannou for that EBU cruiserweight title. I can see you smiling very widely.
I love cruiserweights, and I think they're both great athletes, and that's you know, like I said, cruiserweights, a heavyweight can lay about sometimes. You can have an off day. You know, you can go out and have a curry. Cruiserweight has the same discipline with his training as a bantamweight. You know, obviously a very different weight, but he has a weight to make. And I've seen guys, I've promoted so many cruiserweight champions, I actually couldn't count them over the years, and it's just, they put on phenomenal fights because they're so big, but they're so fit, and it's great athletes.
How far do you think Lawrence Okolie can go? Everybody knows about his awkward style. What do you make of that style that Lawrence possesses?
He's awkward, but I saw some things about him being fan unfriendly and stuff. But to watch, that it depends on the opponent as well. Yeah, it takes two to tango. So I think you go all the way. You know, I think you know, the division is so exciting. So the last 2 years, obviously, we've had the Ali Trophy in it with all the belts involved. But that, you know, this is well, we won't do the cruiserweights again next season. We won't do it 3 years running, and then it will open up, you know, and then you'll have, you know, will it be Breedis or Dorticos? They'll probably be obviously the gatekeepers of the division. At least 3 or probably even 4 of the belts will be in the final. But look around, man. There's a lot of other guys in that division. Tough weight class.
And on to that headline bout, Regis Prograis, Josh Taylor. How do you see it playing out, Kalle?
Well, I'm definitely not going to make a prediction, and even if I could, I'd be talking shit. No, it's you know, it's. I watched both guys come through. I watched them before when we were doing the selection process for the weight class. So I've studied them in and out. I've watched them live, obviously, promoted them, and you're going to see. The thing is, styles make fights. That's a classic expression, but this one really is that. It's going to be interesting because Regis likes to step off, likes to keep his distance. But then will leap in and he's very fast in and out. Whereas Josh will come at you, and that's those two styles blend. And if you look at the records, you know, combined 39-0, 3 titles on the stake, and you know, best of the division, the Ali Trophy winner. So it's going to be very exciting.
And you mentioned that bantamweight World Box Super Series final. Everybody excited to see Noi Nue versus Nonito Donaire. What are your thoughts on that one, Kalle?
Well, he's, for me, the pound-for-pound king, without a shadow of a doubt, is Inoue. Pound for pound, there's no one who could take his power. Inoue is massive here in Japan. 21,000 people. It's going to be a big sellout. Inoue is the star of the future, and Donaire obviously multi. He's got so many titles and knockout of the year and this of the year. Amazing guy, super character. Lovely team around him as well. His wife. And the question will be, is he's wound back the clock. He's looked great, you know. Everyone says about Burnett and the accident and that was so harsh on Ryan, but Nonito took the chance, and up to that point it was level pegging. It was a great fight, and not many people even expected that. They totally wrote off Nonito. Yeah, and he just looks like he's really comfortable at the weight. But people said, "Oh, why are you picking? He's not going to make the weight," you know, and. A lot of people calling me up before the first fight. Oh, have you heard? He's pulling out. He can't make the weight. And he turned up. He was laughing at the scales. He was drinking water at the scales. It was like, oh, okay, right, yeah, okay. Boxing experts, and you know, so it's one of those ones. Future generation. Can he go into the lion's den as well? Nonito will not be fazed by that at all. So it's going to be thrilling. I was feeling, but I can't sign for Tokyo or Saitama. Drama in Saitama.
That one will do, Kalle. Just going to cut your thoughts on a couple of other things. Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz Jr., the rematch taking place in Saudi Arabia, where you hosted the Callum Smith-George Groves final. What are your thoughts on the bout taking place out there?
Makes perfect sense. I think it's great. Neutral venue. I'm not a politician. I'm not a human rights campaigner. I think human rights is the one thing, but this is sport, and this is, you know, then I could talk about a lot of different countries, and you know, should you go to this country and should you go to that country? But at the end of the day, this is business, and this is not funded by the government. We're not, you know, if Matchroom in the UK is not funded by the British government. You know, there's no, it's private money. You know, it's private money that goes in. It comes money from private television. You know, it's Anthony's got one career. Maximise it. You know, so you go out and do it. If you're a Premier League star, you get paid every week. Yeah? You can work off a structure of a league. Boxing's not like that. We're not funded by the government. We're not funded by some league system. You know. We ultimately, the promoters are entrepreneurs and the fighters are artists. You know, they work off fights. If they get injured, they don't get paid. You know, a Premier League star gets injured. You get injured for a year, you get paid for a year. You know, the club don't pay, his insurance will pay. You know, you try insuring a fighter for getting injured and still get paid. It's not going to happen. You know, and so going back to it's a business decision, and ultimately. You know, I've got to say, when we went over there, incredible hosts. Really, the level of everything that was out there, that was put on, was amazing. The locals, super nice people. And once again, we're not politicians. We're there to put on a show, and you know, Eddie and Joshua, and when they made that decision, it's absolutely understandable. It's the best offer on the table. Went over there probably and had a look at it and saw amazing place to put on a fight. They're putting on big events over there. Yeah? It's not like this is the first one. We put on WBSS. We put on the first big boxing fight ever in Saudi last year. And since then you've had Khan, and now you've got this one. And it's great. It brings boxing to the region. But you know what else it does? It brings money to the sport. Money to the sport that is not funded, from elsewhere. That's important.
You've just said that you're not a politician, but how would you try and allay any fears that many people might have? Some people are saying about the human rights, the way women treated, etc. over there. What would you try and say to anybody who has those fears?
Fears in which sense?
For the human rights and the way people treated over there, for why women are treated, etc.
Like I said, I'm not a politician.
But how would you try and allay any fears anyone has going on?
I don't think there's any fears around the event. I mean, the event, the event's the event. But in terms of a country, I can't make a statement on something I don't know that much about. I think they've made huge advances as a country. Saudi is, like I said, they've become more every year. There seems to be more and more development, and when you get there, you've got to see Riyadh. It's a great city. What their foreign politics and everything else is, that's not an area that I'm going to comment on or that I'm involved in. I'm a boxing promoter.
Well, finally, Kalle, as a boxing promoter, just wanted to get your thoughts on this weekend's bout between Tyson Fury and 2'SAUDI. Your thoughts on that one, Kalle?
Well, we promoted Wallin for a couple of years. For me, Tyson's the man to beat the heavyweights. I've said that and I'll say it again. Call him lineal champ and whatever. I can't remember what a lineal champ is. I know there's all these descriptions. I've heard Frank using them. Who cares? He's the man, for me, the man to beat at the division. Right? So, he got robbed against Deontay. He beat the man to beat. That's why he gets this lineal thing from when he beat Klitschko, who everyone had been trying to beat for the last 10 years. So Tyson's the man to beat. So can Wallin do it? Not in the month for Sundays. There's a couple of chances, clash of heads. I don't know, Tyson trips over the rope and sprains his ankle. But no, not a chance. It's going to be a demonstration of boxing finesse. Wallin can maybe be a bit awkward the first few rounds, not dangerous, awkward. But Tyson's so clever in the ring. Talk about learning boxing. When did you start boxing? Tyson never started boxing. He was born into a boxing family, a fighting family. So his boxing brains is 1,000 years old.
My final question to you, Kalle, before I let you shoot off. That bout between Tyson Fury and 2'SAUDI ultimately leads to a rematch between Fury and Wilder. In your opinion, which fight is bigger for the heavyweight division? Wilder Fury 2 or Joshua Ruiz 2?
I'll tell you which one's bigger. The winner of those two fighting each other.
Kalle Sauerland, thanks for being to Boxing Social.
Thanks, mate. Nice one.